Henry Ford College Board of Trustees meeting, October 17th, 2022, 7:03. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee D'Ambrosio? Trustee Moses?
Here?
Trustee Petrikov?
Here.
Trustee Thorpe?
Here.
Trustee Watts? Here. Chair McDonald?
Thank you. Next item.
Approval of minutes. Approval of minutes for the following Board of Trustees meeting. Board of Trustees Policy Committee meeting, September 19th, 2022. Board of Trustees President's Evaluation Committee meeting, September 19th, 2022. Regular Board of Trustees meeting, September 19th, 2022. Recommended action, make any necessary corrections, and move to approve these minutes.
So moved. Support.
I have a motion by Trustee Barry, supported by Trustee Thorpe. Any discussion, any corrections? Seeing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio? Trustee Moses?
Here? Yes.
Trustee Petrikov?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Trustee Watts? Yes. Chair McDonald?
Thank you. Next item.
President's items.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Good evening, trustees. It's good to have you here. I want to say on behalf of the entire community of Dearborn and the entire community of Henry Ford College, you all have been in the spotlight, and I want to say to you as a community member, I appreciate your public service. It has not been easy, but you have conducted yourself in a dignified and professional way, and you've made me proud as your colleague and as a citizen of Dearborn. I've also seen one of you have to take up a pretty difficult task. One of us is having a birthday, and in the middle of him having a birthday, he's got to take on the gavel, which has been a little bit of a hard task these days. I hope it's a little bit easier than it has been last week. Chair Mosip, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I wish you best of luck in your maiden voyage as the chair of this board. And if there's anything that we can do at the college during the time you are serving in our chair's stead, please let any of us know.
Make this short.
I will do my best. The last thing I'll say before I'll hand the proverbial mic over to a couple of my colleagues is I want to remind everyone that we've tried to emulate what we had with First Fridays during the pandemic and transition it to more of a community-based meeting. And so we will be having our first Friday in October this coming Friday. Now, it's not the first Friday, and I apologize for that, but it is going to be another opportunity for us to come back together. I'll be putting things out in our social media feeds, but it'll be this Friday, the 21st, and we'll be meeting at 9:30, right between this building and the new science building. If the weather is nice, and I believe it will be, we'll do a very quick jog, and I believe Trustee Watts was with us, and I invite any trustee to come join us. A very quick jog around campus, and if jogging is not your cup of tea on a Friday morning, after 15 minutes of jogging, we'll be right back at the beginning place, and we'll do a 15-minute walk around campus. It's a great opportunity for us to gain the sense of community and come back together. And if neither running or walking is really what you prefer to do on a Friday morning, then at 10 o'clock, we'll be back in this building having a First Friday. Vice President Dong, are we going to use the Barry again at the Barry conference room in at 10 o'clock? And this will be the second time, trustees, that we've taken this First Friday into an in-person venue, and I encourage you to join us. It's a great opportunity for those of you trustees who have taken part. It's a really great opportunity where anyone from the community is welcome. Students, faculty, staff, community members, and I'll be promoting that in the rest of the week. And then keep your ears open, friends and colleagues, for a big announcement that we'll be making a week from now regarding a long-awaited agreement between this institution and the University of Michigan Dearborn. So those are all the comments that I have, but I do want a couple of my colleagues to do a couple things that I think this board can feel good about, and you all deserve to know what kind of great work is happening here at Henry Ford College that you're leading, and I do think you deserve a little bit of a lift me up, pick me up. So the first thing I want to do is ask Vice President DeLong to show you some of the messages that Henry Ford College, particularly under her leadership, have been broadcasting to various methods of media outlets, both what you'd see on television and in streaming web-based promotions. So Vice President DeLong, if you could show us I know you've queued up here. Is it just one stream?
Yeah, this will be, what I've done is I've connected 5 of our new TV ads together. The first 2 that you will see, they're all 30 seconds, just so you know, it's not a long video, so 2.5 minutes. You will see 2 that are general, Henry Ford College, and then you will see 3 of our program-specific videos. One will be culinary, one will be ophthalmic tech, and one will be surgical tech. And I think by the end of it, you'll get a real sense for some of who our students are. So, oh, and the first one actually features an alum of ours that you may have heard of.
And trustees, I may turn the lights down here so that folks can see them on the television.
Okay.
I was actually homeless for the duration of my time here at Henry Ford College. Faculty members, when they found out, they showed so much support and poured into me, helped me in purchasing my first vehicles. I ended up eventually becoming a part of the student council. I was a founding member of the Diversity Task Force Initiative. I'm a member of Phi Theta Kappa National Honor Society. Those programs helped develop the leader within me that I didn't even know was there myself. And I look forward to having the opportunity to be able to pour into future Hawks.
I moved from overseas after contemplating what I really wanted to do in life. Henry Ford seemed like the best option. Knowing that, you know, you're on campus, you go out, you see people, just gives you that sense of community and that sense of you're not alone in this.
I'm a former frontline worker. Coming back, I wanted a new future. At first I was scared because I wasn't sure what to expect. I just went online and I applied. Come back because it's your future.
I've been working kind of in management, was always interested in kind of more the hospitality field. One nice thing about the hospitality industry is you have these people that come for celebrations and parties, events, and you get to know these people and you're just kind of a stop along the way and interact with them, get to know them. You're going to get some great experience. You're working with some great chefs, there's great instructors, and you meet some great people. You're going to make great friends.
For me, ending up at Henry Ford College, it was really by chance. I was working in a steel plant and I injured my knee. I was unable to continue working at that steel plant, so I looked into the ophthalmic technician program. That took me there, and I'm happy. It was the best decision I made. Being able to help somebody, and you get to see almost instant gratification when you help somebody. For me, it's education, continuing to grow, learning, and helping people. I feel like that's what the college did for me, and that's what I want to do for other people.
After having my daughter at 36 years old, I realized I needed to do something more with my life, and I fell upon Henry Ford's surgical tech program. Being a dropout, you spend a lot of time people telling you you can't do certain things or it might be too late, but it's not. Henry Ford gave me a lot of guidance, and I wouldn't be here without everybody on their staff. It's been an amazing journey, and it feels really good to finally be here and be a college graduate.
Well, thank you, Vice President DeLong. I think that's the sum of your presentations, right?
That is it. Yeah,
all right, and thank you for that. Trustees, I hope.
So we should clap.
While I just say a couple more comments, I'm going to ask my colleague, Vice President Diamond, to come to the podium. Trustees, what I hope you see in that segment that we just showed some of the messaging is that this institution is focused on what our impact is on students, both because that's the passion of the folks who work here, but most importantly because that is what we believe will help other students see why they should be here with us. If you see yourself in those videos as a student, and I hope you did see people who could see themselves, if you see yourself and you hear those testimonies that candidly, a talent like Rhonda DeLong has cultivated with her team year after year, we can start to make the argument that Henry Ford College is unique. We can provide for you an opportunity for you, the way you see yourself, like someone else that looks and sounds like you, to have a better life. And that was the message that was throughout those. And so I hope you sense that. And of course, Vice President DeLong, one thing we know, and how we try to market is that we can rely on, and we need to rely on you trustees to give us feedback. So another reason for showing you those videos, frankly, and I hope you can do it maybe after this meeting, but hey, maybe there's an adjustment you need to make there, or I wasn't really that crazy about this part of it. So I'm really proud of that, but I also want to offer you an opportunity for feedback about how we're messaging. So Vice President Diamond, I use that to get you an opportunity to get into position. I've given Vice President Diamond a very tough task. I've told her you have 6 minutes. 6 minutes, and what I'd like for you to do is just quickly talk to the trustees about some of the initial work that we're doing on the strategic plan, which is also focused directly on student success. So, Vice President Diamond, you look like you're ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, the conch is
Are you
yours, so to
timing
speak.
me? So good evening, President Cavalluna, Chair Moses, trustees. As President Cavalluna said, I'm here to talk to you about some progress we're making with the strategic plan, specifically removing barriers in achieving student success. And how do we achieve student success? A lot of different ways, but tonight I'm going to talk to you about initiatives and tactics. For all of the strategic priorities and goals that we have, we've identified 12 initiatives that help achieve those goals and priorities. Each initiative is led by a cabinet team member that has a team of faculty and staff that help implement tactics or strategies to achieve our goals. Tonight we're going to talk about retention and completion, and we're going to talk about 2 different areas. One is those students who are not making satisfactory academic progress, or sometimes SAP, and then in a college-wide emergency grant program. I'm going to first start with those students who are not making satisfactory academic success. So we had an objective to develop a proposal to identify these students who are at risk and align them with a special task force, if you will. We're calling it the Henry Ford College Academic Intervention Team. We want them to get advising, counseling, and we're going to track them throughout the semester. Our goal is that for this group of students that we give interventions, make them successful, and really 2 goals that we're looking for is 1, that they complete all of their classes in the fall. Second, they get a grade point average of higher than a 2.0. So we have a pilot group of students that fall within this category. They're not making academic progress, and they're failing the 2.0 GPA requirement. When we looked at this, it gave us a group of 130 students, and we thought, wow, this is a great group to pilot this new program under. What does this look like? We're planning to have some success navigators, 3 of them, and our manager of academic advising take this group of 130 students, which is about 32 students per team member. And then additional members of the college community will be needed just based upon each student's situation. So if I'm meeting with one student and they have a housing insecurity, or another student and they need some tutoring, we're going to bring in members of the college community to help us with that. How are we going to engage these students? We're going to reach out to them every week. We're going to seek input from their faculty members, identify the barriers that might be in their way, refer them to support areas of the college. Of course, we're going to also help them with wraparound services such as transportation, help with books. We're going to collaborate with financial aid and institutional research to code and track. We want to make sure we know if they're successful. We document each student interaction. We prepare weekly reports, monitor their grades, and provide them feedback from what we learn. How will we know if this is successful? I'll go back to the 2 goals I talked to you about. The first one is that the students complete 100% of their courses, so all of their courses, and compare that to the students who were not in the pilot program but had those same not making academic progress qualifications. The second area of, of evaluation is that their term GPA is greater than a 2.0. And again, compare them to the people or to the students not in that group. So we look forward to being able to bring back for you in the future some results from this pilot program. The second area, I told you we're on speed dial tonight. What we're doing right now is talking about emergency aid program and removing barriers for students. If you don't know, Henry Ford College partners with the Gardner Institute on a variety of initiatives. And we partnered with the Gardner Institute and their consulting group called RPK. And the 2 goals of that collaboration were an emergency aid process review, the current things that were happening, and developing a plan for expanding our emergency aid. So the college formed an emergency aid research team, and we participated in this collaboration with the Gardner Institute and several other institutions, suggested improvements on our current aid process. Our objective, scale and sustain a great emergency aid program. Our goals are to keep students in their current semester, hopefully enroll them in the next semester, and then have them graduate. We hope to positively impact our strategic plan, and by this constant interaction and helping students with their finances, we hope to decrease the number of D's, E's, withdrawals, and incomplete that our students experience. Who's going to benefit from this? New students, current students, students who are close to graduation but might not have the funds to finish. We've heard this. I only have one class to go and I don't have the funding. We're calling these Hawk Hero grants, which is a type of a micro grant. Our current process, what we found was that it's not clear for students. Many areas in the college are involved, but we're not coordinating. It's a long process, and there's a limited use of funds. Our new proposed process brings multiple areas of the college together. We want to create an emergency aid support team, streamline the application process, which then will speed up the answers, because if you have an emergency today, you don't want to wait 2 weeks to find out your answer. So the team is working on this right now. They are putting together their team, the permanent team, looking at ways to communicate this and ways to implement. I want to tell you, so the team's been working on this. Last week, we had an unexpected situation with a student that we felt served as a perfect pilot for this program. We were made aware of a current student who was facing a very, very serious situation that endangered them from completing this semester. So what did we do? We thought, well, let's do what we've been planning. We got departments together, we discussed the situation, looked at the student's need, and we were able to quickly award an emergency grant Friday afternoon, and the student has remained enrolled and working towards completion of their degree. This is a job well done, truly. There is more to come. The review team will be presenting to you in December. I want to just take a quick note that the people on the screen deserve credit for all of the information in this presentation and the work that's been done. This would not have been possible without all of the participation of these individuals. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you for putting this together. So 2 questions. For the first project to address SAP.
Yes.
When does that begin?
Now.
Okay.
Fall semester.
And then the other, you said that you had identified 130 students. Do we know of those 135 students, how many have an IEP or have a 504?
Not off the top of my head, but we can find out.
Okay, I'd just be curious to see what that would look like. But thank you.
Sure.
Trustee Thorpe?
So with the identification of these students, how did you identify them if it's based on this semester? Is it because they were here a previous semester and had a GPA below 2?
Yes, and that work was done. I have to give credit to Stephanie Lasky and Kevin Culler in our financial aid office. They did a lot of the work on this, and they looked at the students' past experience here at the college, where their grade point was, their risk factor, and said these are the people who we can really save.
Thanks.
Trustee Petlicoff?
Were the students receptive when you approached them with this idea?
You know, this is really new, so I've not had feedback from any of the team members.
But they all accepted the help?
Yeah, you know what, I don't know that off the top of my head. The communications just recently started, so I'll be able to follow up with you.
Yeah, I'd like to hear how, because that was one of the things I had concerns when we had conversations about this program in the beginning, was are students going to really be responsive to it and be willing to accept the help? Because sometimes it's hard. People are in a position where they feel, uncomfortable.
You're right, and I'll give you the example of the current student from this last week. I made the phone call to the student when I found out about them and said, this is Holly Diamond. I'm hearing you might have a need. No, Miss Diamond. I said, are you sure? Asked 4 times. 3 days later, I get a phone call. Miss Diamond, I should have been truthful. I need help. So it takes a village, because that person only called me because of another person at the college encouraging them to make that call. and ask for help. It is hard, and so it does take a village, like I've said in my other presentation. It just does. We all have to be here together and encourage those students. It's okay to ask for help.
Well, and that's something I think you're going to have to concentrate on if you want to expand this program, is how you message it.
Sure.
So that they feel that it's an acceptable way to ask for help.
Absolutely.
Trustee Watts again?
Just to follow up with that, so if a student is watching this right now and they're thinking that maybe there's something that they didn't necessarily think they could need help with, but now they're saying they do, how do they get in touch?
They can contact a variety of different offices at the college. I would say the best thing to do is contact our Welcome Center, because it's kind of a hub for a variety of different services, and we can get students to the right person or the right department, because some of them have so many different needs, but we have a lot of great cross-trained team members that can really help our students with that. And the Welcome Center has, there's the main phone number, it has an email address of enrollment services at hfcc.edu, and we have a great chat feature.
Is there anything on the website that would indicate that this is offered? I guess if they didn't know it wasn't offered, is there something like an intake form that says?
For this particular pilot, not yet, because it is a pilot, and then we want to see how far this goes. But our academic advising office, they are developing an intake form right now.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
I had a question about the markup of the students. How many are full-time and how many are part-time?
Of the 130?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that off the top of my head. I can get back with you.
Sure. Yeah, I would like to know that. And any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Diamond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, the last thing I'll just say here is this is what I hope to make a somewhat regular presentation to you. You may recall that the strategic plan that you all proposed was singularly focused on student success with 4 main priorities and 2 goals under each priority. And the strategic planning team, which was a cross-sectional team, advised that they really recommended that a vice president or myself identify strategic initiatives that we would start pushing and have the authority to move forward. I have to apologize and tell you, Trustee Watts, Vice President Diamond had to answer a couple of questions like it wasn't happening yet, because I pushed her. I said, I really want the board to see some of it. She said that we're not ready yet. We're still building this. And I said they need to see it. So the truth is, our emergency grant process is not where it should be. We've identified it, we're building it, and poor Ms. Diamond had to report on it as she was building it. But the questions you had about how a student would come to understand that, we are not good there yet. But in the months as you see us month after month, I plan to have other vice presidents and maybe some of their teammates, like Vice President Diamond just mentioned, her teammates in December will come back and give you a more thorough report out about how these 2 programs have launched. I think you should also come to expect you're going to see vice presidents saying, hey, this is an initiative that I'm working on, and here's what we're learning, and here's how we're going forward. And this was the very first time, and so Vice President Diamond, I appreciate you serving as the guinea pig.
She's the pilot to the pilot.
Yes, yes. And I'm pretty good at picking those pilots. Bad jokes aside, that is my report.
Thank you, President Cavaluna. I'm pretty sure this cohort will give us a lot of insight of how we can help students be successful, especially when they have other life situations that are inhibiting them from being successful. So thank you for that, and thank you for this program. Looking forward to it. Next item, please.
Recognition and acknowledgements.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Thank you, President Cavaluna, Chair Mosey, brand new, congrats, and members of the board. My name is Brad Gonzalez. I graduated from Lincoln Park High School in 2016. I started at HFC in the fall of 2017. When I graduated high school, I would say I wasn't a great student. I wasn't exceptional in any way, but I always felt that I was a little inferior academically to my classmates and my peers. And I think that really put a damper on my grades throughout high school. Looking back, I didn't have the discipline or confidence to study as needed. I felt this would come with time, and I was right. So I had a choice to make. Go with a big university and pay the higher costs, or go with a good community college, live with my family, and work. For me, the decision was obvious. I chose Henry Ford College. It changed my life. I graduated from HFC in 2019 with an associate's degree in business management. My HFC instructors, Dr. Anthony Perry, Elaine Sineski, Rachel Loomis, Corin Asher, Dr. Maria Sepulveda, and Gordy Wilson were especially supportive in my academic pursuits. For many reasons, these great people always looked out for me during my time at HFC. I think a lot about them, and I owe them my success. After graduating from HFC, I transferred to Wayne State University and earned a bachelor's degree in business science with a major in information systems. With this education, over the summer I was able to serve as the IT manager for Southwest Immigrant and Refugee Center in Southwest Detroit, where I was responsible for data collection, reporting, client services, legal issues consultations, translating English to Spanish, IT troubleshooting, and internal auditing for our client accounts. This experience motivated me to attend the University of Michigan School of Social Work, and I'm hopefully in a dual enrollment program, and I'll be applying to the law school for the following year. So that'll be a 4-year process, including this year. When I graduate, I'll have a master's degree in social work and a Juris Doctor, which is a JD. I recommended HFC to my younger brother Christian, who's sitting right here. So this fall, he started as a freshman at the college that I went to. And I noticed that he had so much capacity and potential, but I felt just like me, he needed some time to develop as a student. He doesn't necessarily know what field he wants to specialize in, and HFC provides that opportunity at a lower cost and with the support that's necessary for a student like him. I hope his experience is as great as mine. Now, I'm pleased to read this month's HFC Board acknowledgements. Congratulations to Tazeen Ayub, full-time Arabic faculty member who was recently awarded a fellowship with the Detroit Equity Action Lab deal, an initiative of the Damon Keith Center of Civil Rights at Wayne State University Law School. Troy Gibson, Beth Michael, Dr. Michael Nealon, and Lorraine Paffenroth will present Becoming the River, Bridging Partnerships Between Faculty and Advising for Student Success at the National NACADA Conference in Portland, Oregon, October 23rd to the 26th. This presentation earned them Best in Conference May at the MIACADA Conference at Wayne State University. Stephen Glazer, full-time ceramic faculty member of the School of Liberal Arts, was recently acknowledged in Aaron Hokozima, a former HFC student in Voyage Michigan magazine. Congratulations to Aaron, Stephen Glazer, and the Fine Arts and Performing Arts Department. HFC Culinary Arts Department provided the Detroit Athletic Club with 6 student volunteers to aid the master chef and his team for the Back to DAC event. They served 1,700 people and helped in all capacities of the kitchen. HFC Culinary and the DAC have established a partnership to give our students and graduates the opportunity to learn and work in one of the most exclusive and highly recognized hospitality organizations in Detroit. Thank you for the opportunity to be this month's reader. Do you have any questions I can answer for you?
Trustee Watts?
So Brad, I want to congratulate you for your U of M social work degree. My sister also went through that program.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
congrats.
I'm working on it right now, yeah.
And well, then you're almost done. So when you finish with your JD, what are you going to specialize in?
I really want to go into immigration law. I think there's a really large space for multidisciplinary services within that field. I noticed at my time at SWORK that there were caseworkers, but I don't think they necessarily met all their needs. And with a group like this, having people who have a legal background and that background in social work would be really useful for them.
Thank you. And what do you think your brother Christian, how are you going to steer him?
Oh, man. I'm actually not steering him, but he has found some incredible success in graphic design. He's taking a class here, and the kid's an incredible artist. I don't know if he knew, but...
Well, thank you for sharing your story,
Yeah,
and I hope you continue to share it, because I think you'll probably touch many people's lives along your
thank
path.
you.
So thank you.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Brad, for volunteering today, and best wishes with your JD, and always be proud to be a Hawk, and remember us
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you become famous.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I may. Mr. Gonzalez, I want to, and Mr. Chair, after we let poor Mr. Gonzalez be done with the podium, I have a couple comments about his, the acknowledgements he mentioned. But Mr. Gonzalez, I want to say something to you publicly, because I think you deserve to hear it. You said something that I really disagree with, and I hope I can change your mind. At the beginning of your presentation, you said regarding your time in high school that you weren't really exceptional in any way.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to agree to disagree on that point.
Yeah.
Because I just want to tell you that what you're doing now is exceptional.
Absolutely.
What you're looking to do with your life is exceptional. And I can tell you because I have had the joy to be an advocate, which is what you have described you want to do with your professional life. And I can already say you've got the bones to do it.
Yeah.
So that is rare. That is rare to have the ability. I don't know how old you are, but you don't look much older than 30 and probably a lot less than that. To know that you want to go and advocate, to know that when you were younger you weren't as good a student as you want, to set expectations for yourself and then influence people close to you, that is exceptional.
Thank you.
And it's just a great point of pride for me to see us have some opportunity to have some interaction with you.
Thank you.
And getting into law school is a bear.
Yeah,
So,
I'm working on it. Yeah. We've been LSAT studying every night.
I can't help you with that because I didn't do so well on that. But I would be honored to reach out to any law school you think you want to go to and say what I just said. I don't know if there was nothing exceptional about you when you were younger. Like I said, we'll agree to disagree about that. But what you are doing now is exceptional.
Thank you.
Don't give up.
I won't.
You're making us proud. And the one way you can continue to make us proud is to tell Christian to come see us.
Oh, yeah.
We're here to help you, and you got big shoes to fill,
No.
but we're proud to have you here. And I did have some more comments, but I could see one of your colleagues.
Yeah,
Well,
Trustee
I
Petroskowski.
just wanted to piggyback on, because I was thinking about your first statement too, about your high school experience. The self-awareness you had and the realization of how you wanted to move your future forward was the success you found in school. It might have not been academic as you had hoped for, but the fact is that, and a lot of this probably came from your family as well, but the fact that you were aware enough of where your strengths and weaknesses lay and to follow through on that, I commend you. You're
Thank
doing a phenomenal job.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We're pulling for you, so come.
Yeah, working on it. Yeah.
We're pulling for you.
Oh,
We're going to
funny.
be following you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
No,
we're rooting you on.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I make some comments about some other things?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Brad.
Mr. Gonzalez.
And for both of you, you don't have to stay for the full meeting. Just let you know.
Sure.
You may have seen, trustees, that Rhonda DeLong's team did a wonderful biopic article on Mr. Gonzalez, and I encourage you to check that out. I also wanted to note that during Mr. Gonzalez's presentation, he mentioned that Mr. Gibson, Mr. Michael, and then, of course, Vice President Dr. Nealon will be making, and Lorraine Paffenroff will be making a presentation in Portland. And that will be from October 23rd to 26th. And the reason why I want to bring that to your attention is because that will encompass October 24th. And October 24th will be a really exciting, important announcement between University of Michigan Dearborn and Henry Ford College that Michael Nealon deserves the lion's share of credit for. Now, he's going to be doing what he's really good at, which is giving a presentation, and I wish it were in the other county, but it'll be on the other side of the continent. So he won't be able to be there to take a victory lap, and I wanted you to know that he deserves to take a victory lap, because that announcement that I'm being a little coy about the details about, but when you all see it, you will see that it's 85 years in the making. And of course, Dr. Nealon's only been working on it for a couple years, and I just want you to know on behalf of the President's office, and I do think I have the liberty to speak on behalf of the board, Dr. Nealon, we're going to be thinking about you on the 24th and the great work that you accomplished in that announcement.
I'm sitting next to the reason why we do it.
That's right. That's right. And then, of course, I see my friend Steve Glazer. Congratulations on the acknowledgement. I look forward to seeing you in your building very soon with those new lights in the building that you have to present all the great art that you have there. And Trustee Mosip, I promised to make this meeting short, and I just am going in the wrong direction. So
that's fine.
I am done now. Thank you.
Thank you, President Cavalluna. Next item.
Special reports, audit presentation for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2022, Vice President Setkowski.
And I think I should tell you, Mr. Chairman, we do have folks who do a great job for us auditing our books from Plant Moran, and they'll be playing the role of John Setkowski.
Perfect. Hi, I'm Dana Coombs with Plant Moran. I was the partner on the audit engagement this year. I have with me Jen Longo, who served as the engagement senior and manager. We completed our audit of the college's year ended June 30th, 2022, and happy to report that you've received a clean, unmodified opinion. That's the best opinion you can receive from your auditors, that your financial statements are free of material misstatement. So congratulations to John Setkowski and his team for all of the hard work that goes into that. Also happy to report there were no audit adjustments or findings as a result of our federal program audit. So we also audit compliance with laws and regulations and did not have any findings related to that as well. So a great audit this year and happy to report those results. We did meet with the audit committee in advance of this meeting with Trustee Thorpe and Trustee Mosip to go through the financial results in detail, including our end of audit reports, the financial statements, as well as this presentation, and had a good discussion during that meeting. We thought we'd highlight just a few slides for you tonight on the general fund, so I'll turn it over to Jen to do that.
Thank you, Dana. So we'll start here. The first thing we wanted to present was revenue for the general fund, and which is a fund you're used to hearing about and the one the college very much focuses on. The first category there you'll see that's the largest in the pie chart is tuition and fees revenue at about 50% or 48.4%, 48.4 million. The second category there is state appropriations revenue at about 35.1 million or 35%. And the third category there is property taxes at about 14.9 million or 15%. And one thing we do like to do is we like to compare Henry Ford's revenue to averages for Michigan peer institutions, which is that table on the right side of the slide. You will see that Henry Ford's tuition and fee revenue is slightly larger than other Michigan peer institutions, and that's mostly because of the way that state appropriations are allocated to Henry Ford, and as well as tax revenue, the way that's allocated differently to Henry Ford versus other institutions. This next slide represents general fund expenditures. And again, we do have on the right side the averages presented as well for other Michigan peer institutions. For Henry Ford, the largest category of expenditures is instruction at about 46.7 million or 54%. And one thing we like to do when we compare that to the Michigan peer institutions is look at instruction and instructional support together. So when looking at those averages on the right side, you'll see for total for instruction and instructional support, it's about 55%, compared to in the pie chart for Henry Ford, it's about 58%. So very comparable and very consistent with prior years. The other larger categories of expenditures are student services and administrative services. Student services makes up about $12 million or 14%, and administrative services makes up about $11.6 million or 13%. We've also shown a smaller pie chart at the top there for personnel and other costs. and a small portion of administrative service expenditures that is bad debt expense, and that continues to decrease from year to year. And this last slide is an illustration of the general fund showing total revenues and total expenditures. You'll see going back to 2014 and going on forward, total revenues have continued to exceed total expenses, which is great. And we do also show on the end there 2023 budgeted figures. You'll see total revenues and expenditures continue to be in line with previous years and are continuing to increase in total. So that concludes our presentation of the financial statement highlights. If anyone has any questions, we'll be happy to address them.
No questions?
This is always so easy when everything goes well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
That comment, and that's something we
I've
talked
been here
about.
when things didn't go so well years past, so.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, the fact that we didn't have any audit adjustments, tells you as the board that you're getting accurate information on a monthly basis, which is very important. So, congratulations to the whole team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations to John's team. Next item, please.
I'd like to say one
Sure.
thing. It's not me, it's my team. I mean, Kevin Culler, Barb Eisterhold, Brian Bain, no adjustments, no changes. They just do a stellar job. And that's just free the entire group to deal with. But they're just so phenomenal to work with. I couldn't ask for a better associate in the accounting area.
Thank you, John. We're pleased to hear that. Next item, please.
Next item, action items, citizen participation. Citizens wishing to address the board on agenda and non-agenda items for action and have submitted a blue card by 7:10 p.m. to the secretary may speak at this time. The board may not be in a position to respond to non-agenda items. Therefore, speakers should not anticipate an immediate response to their comments or questions. For the benefit of all concerned, do not mention the names of students or college employees, and please limit comments to 3 minutes. We have 2 blue cards. The first one, Leslie Windless, representing SSA, would like to speak to the board about remote work.
Good evening. My name is Leslie Windless, and I am the president of the Support Staff Association. Tonight, I am here to speak on behalf of the SSA remote workers. The HFC community is a family, and that's a statement I don't think anyone here will disagree with. The problem with some families is they don't talk about the dark things out loud, and they only glorify the good things. The elders will often go out of their way to silence those who threaten the family legacy. Years of this behavior unchecked turns into the oppression of those without power. For the last 2.5 years, the HFC administration has failed miserably at working with the SSA regarding remote work conditions, which has left our union extremely vulnerable and divided. They have effectively pinned us against each other without a care in the world. We have disgruntled remote workers who do not feel valued, supported, or respected. We have the other members who blame the remote workers for the decline in student services, despite the fact that this is 100% the administration's fault. 1, the college told staff in April of 2021 at a meeting that remote work would be here to stay. I have always told them the complete opposite, which is to expect it to end. 2, remote work continued without negotiations. At the negotiations in 2021, the college told us they refused to negotiate remote work because it was going to end in September of 2021. 3, students supporting departments like the enrollment lab, call center, financial aid, and registration have been extremely understaffed for over 2 years. These remote workers are exhausted. One stating, I have worked in admissions and have been working overtime nonstop since I can remember. Overworked, someone stating, I am seeing triple the number of students that I required to see when I was on campus full-time in academic advising of all places. My on-campus days are filled completely with virtual appointments when my home is more private than the Welcome Center. And being unpaid. One worker stating, staying at HFC has become unbearable, and if they remove remote work, I will leave, as I don't make a living wage and can make more money working at Del Taco down the street. Then 4, we have filed 3 separate grievances in the last 2 years related to remote work and its impact on our employees, both those working remotely and those not working remotely, to no avail. We have one that is on its way to public arbitration. To be clear, the plan they are proposing has nothing to do with student services. Otherwise, the countless vacancies in student services would be posted right now. The virtual appointment for student services button would be on the homepage of the college's website. The SSA would have a letter of agreement related to remote services, and they would be ensuring that facilities is even staffed enough to clean a facility that is fully staffed with in-person employees. HFC is our academic students,
Can you please wrap
and we
your
are our
comments?
struggle ones.
Can you please wrap your comments?
Yep, I am. It's at the end. HFC is our star athletes, and we are our bench warmers. HFC is our star employees, but we are also those on the disciplinary track. And to be clear, no one here on cabinet needs to pull me into a room, close the door, scream or hit the table, or threaten my reputation here at HFC, because I am doing exactly what I'm known for, standing up for those who are oppressed and calling out the oppressors in their house using their rules. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next, Julie Fountain would like to come to speak to the board about remote work.
President and Board of Trustees. I'm Julie Fountain. I'm a Student Success Navigator here at Henry Ford College. I've been here for 6 years. I've spent almost 20 years in advising. I love advising. I love working at colleges. I love higher ed. HFC has been one of my favorite places to work. I worked at Michigan State. I worked at U of M Ann Arbor. I love it here at Henry Ford College. Okay, so let me say that. I'm used to advocating for students. That's my role. I'm a student success navigator, so I work with students who are having trouble, who are trying to get into nursing. Tonight I'm here on behalf of my coworkers and myself. I am a member of SSA, and I just want to advocate for the portion of the community that is our staff. We fully understand community. We understand that students are a priority. But I want to make sure that when we're talking about community, that we're talking about our staff and the well-being of our staff. We have been understaffed for years. I'm actually almost in tears because I have spent many nights at work, at home, literally in tears because of how much work there is to do. And students suffer, and colleagues suffer, and it's very challenging. So I just want you to consider this. Last year, the college said, yep, we're coming back 5 days a week. What happened? You guys know, people left, okay? We're even more short-staffed now than we were, okay? We're coming back 5 days a week as of January. People are already talking about leaving. Why? Why is the college doing this? We have remote services in place. We can give flexibility to staff and students. I don't understand what's going. Like Leslie mentioned, we have been trying to communicate with the office, trying to work out agreements. Nothing. We are just told that this is the way it's going to be, and I guess we got to deal with it. Okay? That's not how we should be operating. Okay? So I just want to come and let you know, I'm so upset that I'm crying because I'm trying to be a little bit more, I have more in a message. I just want you to know that I think a lot of staff members feel totally disregarded. We are working our tails for a month. It would work literally the equivalent of a whole extra just to try to keep. Please do not remove the remote work option. Okay, we are drowning over here. Okay. Please let us continue to work from home. It is literally the only thing keeping my sanity in check, okay? So I just wanted to say that I'm an English major. I had like 6 pages. I wrote out 2 pages, but that's really the crux of what I wanted to say, okay? I just want you to think about that. I feel like sometimes people say, oh, well, you're working from home. You must not be student focused. We need to be on campus. We need to think about students. Of course we do. But it's 2022. We don't have to have cars in parking lots to be community focused.
Please wrap your comments.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what I wanted to say, is that please just consider the staff. We have great students. We have great staff. I loved working here.
Thank you.
I don't
Thank
wanna
you for
leave
your
because of
comments.
it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any more roll call?
Nope.
President Cavalluna, can we get I'm not sure about my colleagues about, we don't know much about the working from home policy. Can we get an update on that? What is it right now and how is it changing, or how it has changed from the past until today?
Yes, I will give you a brief summary of it right now, and then I will also give you a more detailed summary in a private communication, primarily because of what President Windlass mentioned is an ongoing arbitration issue. That is, arbitration is a quasi legal issue. So let me just say, first of all, part of having a good, appropriate institution is to accept and appreciate when individuals have questions about why we're making these decisions. I think it's completely healthy that President Windlass is advocating for her union and expressing her views. Ms. Fountain and I have shared numerous meetings, and each time, Ms. Fountain, I've heard your concerns, and I appreciate what you're saying. The last time we talked about the staffing issues that you brought to my attention, I took them very seriously, and we have crafted a way to address those issues. I can't say more about the details of that because it is also the product of negotiations for which my understanding is we're very, very close, and the college has put forth a proposal to handle giving raises for more people in positions that you believe are understaffed. And so what I want you to understand is I hear your voice, and I've tried to use the administrative tools that I have to answer those concerns. But President Mosip, the bigger issue that is the topic of both of these comments and your question is, what are we doing with remote work? And I'll just tell you that it is true that the college has, like every other employer who is doing service, has been trying to do the best it can to evaluate both the safety and morale of its employees and the delivery method and service to the customers and or the community that it serves. And I have said in the past that I believe that we needed to come back to campus, and in the past we have, like many other institutions, made goals of returning. But circumstances changed on the ground and caused us to change that. And I will tell you, one of the most important circumstances that changed our posture was voices like we've heard today. On no less than 2 occasions, we have had every belief and intent that it was the best thing for the institution to have more employees back on campus, and we retreated from that to give honor and to give voice to the concerns of employees like President Windlass is voicing and like Ms. Fountain has said. But it is true that we do believe that we do need to shift to a more on-campus posture. And we have, since the beginning of August, been circulating with each collective bargaining unit a new policy for the entire college that explains what the college's expectations will be for each employee and includes the opportunity for them to work from home if the manager agrees with the employee that that is what is in the best interest of both the college, the department, and the students. And this is where the arbitration issue comes in. The college and the SSA do not agree on what the obligations of the 2 groups are about that issue. Is it a negotiable item or not? And it would be unfair and inappropriate for me to make comments about either the SSA's position on that or the college's position on the legal positions. I will say, however, that you can see the Assistant Director of HR, Mark Tate, is sitting in the back of the room, and the Vice President over HR, Lori Gonko, is here. And I have specifically reviewed multiple meetings. I've counted at least 5 meetings between the leaders of SSA and the leaders of HR, and multiple drafts of the return to work policy that continue to go on. So while we're not where we want to be on an agreement, and whether we have to have an agreement, we have been having respectful and thorough discussions about this issue. The rest I will tell you in a confidential communication that if I were a board member, I would want kept confidential.
Sure. Yeah.
But the last thing I want to just say is to any college employee like Ms. Fountain who asks a legitimate question, why is it important to be on campus? And I've thought deeply about that, and I will always try to be as candid with you as I can. Because I understand some folks believe that community must include remote work. And frankly, the remote work policy does envision that that's a possibility. It does not say there will be no chance for remote work. It, as I mentioned, focuses on what the college and its leaders are focusing on, what's best for the college, the students, and the employee. But I will tell you, this college, for it to be successful, I truly do believe that employees must have at least some, and in many instances, the majority of their time on campus. And here's why. We do our best work at the intersections of our team. We're better when we're interacting with each other. Some of our best work requires us to be together. We just last week had really great training with our work on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging in person at the Welcome Center. And every report I received from that was that it was pivotal for us to be together as a team. We try to build leaders from inside this institution. And to do that, you have to be with each other. You have to see each other. Now, is that the only way to do it? No. But I truly believe that it's the best way to do it. And the last thing I'll just say is, we serve students the best when we are where they are. And it is true, sometimes they are on the internet, and sometimes they are on the phone. But in a community college, with the type of people we serve, many times they are here, and they are gone, and then back here. And we are trying to set the best way to serve them by being everywhere they need us. Now, is that possible? Likely not. But we're going to try. And if we're going to be a team, if we're going to learn about our differences and value our differences and be better and more cognizant about how we are as a team, if we're going to serve students, I truly do believe that that is going to require us to be more on campus than we were as the pandemic took us all away. And I pledge to Ms. Fountain and all of President Winless's members to continue to listen and to be candid with you about my views on that answer. I will note that the collective bargaining units that looked at this have given us feedback. And the last thing I just want to say about SSA members is that I can tell you that the members of this administration care deeply about your well-being. And that's not just talk. When the pandemic hit, some of your members were not able to work because it just, the law was you couldn't be on campus, and some of that work didn't happen. And we were proud to support those employees with 2 months of salary while they couldn't work. And then after that, when those employees, we had to make the decision to lay them off, I called every single one of them to say, I'm sorry that this is happening. Is there something I can do to help? And one of those employees said, yeah, my health insurance is a problem. And so the college then took its funds and paid for those employees who wanted to keep health insurance. Then we were excited to bring every employee who wanted to come back. And then we negotiated a contract with this collective bargaining unit that this board ratified that gave significant raises and took some really difficult things off the table because the union didn't think they were respectful, like an attendance policy that felt demeaning. And when the federal government gave us bailout funds, some of those funds went directly into the pockets of SSA members, directly into as a nod to how much we appreciate the work that they do. The SSA had some concerns about our health insurance plan, and so I called every SSA member to a town hall meeting I believe it was a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, and talked to them about that, where it will save each SSA employee what is equivalent to between a 2 to 9% raise. And I answered the questions that the SSA had about some employees having their deductible go up. And the college said, you know what, we hear you. We're going to cover the difference in the deductible so that you can save those premiums. I'm telling you this, SSA members, because we hear your voices. And while I cannot agree with everything you say, I will always try to hear your voices and show you that we value what you do. And one of the ways that I can show you that is to be candid with you when you ask for explanations. And all those other reasons are because, and I can speak directly to the vice presidents of this college. They are the ones that have forced us to look at our policies and make those changes that I just outlined. I'm asking you to at least trust me with this. When you ask us to review something, we will give you our best answer, and when we can, we will try to make it so that you feel valued here. And President Windlass, I am deeply sorry that in some instances you feel like that's not the case. I am committed to always hear that and to try to address it.
Thank you, President Cavalluna. There are no more cards. Okay, so next item, please.
Excuse me, special consideration of an action item. Are there any action items on this agenda which board members or the president wish to discuss and vote on separately? If there are, we will exclude these from the action below.
We will have to take
items 6 and 7 are going to be pulled out to be voted on separately. So,
any questions? Well, let's have a motion first.
well, if they want something pulled, I need to know before I make the motion. Other than
Any item?
Okay. All right then, move to approve action items numbered 1 through 5 as recommended in this agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, roll call. I haven't played secretary in a long time, people. Okay, Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio? Trustee Mosip?
Yes.
Trustee Petlicoff, yes. Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
I'm assuming Trustee Watts may come back in before we're done. Chair McDonald.
Okay. We will come back to 6 and 7 after, or should we adjourn right now?
No, we have to vote on 6 to go into a closed session. And then 7 will be voted on when we come out and
Correct.
go back into an open, so.
But I'm
now-
saying, are we doing that now? Are we calling for a closed session right now?
You're saying, are we calling the question, but are we moving into closed session now?
Right.
You got to call the question before you go
Yeah.
into closed session.
I understand, but are we doing that right after?
You do it right.
Well,
No, after we call for the closed session, are we going to continue with board business, the other items, and then?
Because
come
we
back?
still have the board business.
you can do it either way.
Mr. Chair, may I make a recommendation?
Sure.
If it pleases the chair, I would recommend you move through the rest of this agenda and then come back.
I would too. Okay, let's move on to next item on Board of Trustees business. And then we'll come
Acknowledgements.
back to 6 and 7.
Okay, acknowledgements of correspondence.
We have received a letter from 1650. I believe you all have received it in
Yes.
support of our school
On
library specialists, so thank you for that letter. Any other correspondence? Oh, next item.
Next item, board committee reports.
We have the audit committee.
The audit committee met before this meeting. We've already heard the audit presentation.
Any other committee reports? And a policy didn't meet today. So, next item.
Request for information and/or future agenda items.
Obviously, other than the request for information on work from home policy. But next item, please.
Board member commentary.
Any commentary?
I just wanted to
Trustee
say
Watts?
that I did attend the Eastern Market Gala that our culinary students were in the back, and the food was excellent, and we were able to go back and say hello to them. It was a wonderful event, and it was great to see our chef back there, chefs, and all of our students. They did a wonderful job, and the food was something I could never make in my life. So it was wonderful. So congratulations to all the students.
Trustee Thorpe?
Speaking of food, it was good to be on campus for Welcome Back Week and serving, how many people did we serve? Over 800. And it was all food I could have made because it was burgers and hot dogs. I'm comfortable with that. But it was good to see so many people there that day and be able to serve them.
Any other commentary? Well, next month, before we meet again, we do have the elections on November 8th, so encouraging all the college community to go out and vote up the ballot, down the ballot. So that's it for commentary. Any others? Okay. Next item.
Next item, future meeting dates. It's not on there, but Wednesday, October 19th, the HFC Board of Trustees Policy Committee meeting, 2:30 p.m. at the Administrative Service and Conference Center in the Cabinet Conference Room. Monday, November 14th, 2022, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, November 21st, 2022, HFC Board of Trustees Policy Committee meeting, 5 p.m. at the Administrative Service and Conference Center in the Cabinet Conference Room. And Monday, November 21st, 2022, HFC Board of Trustees meeting, 6 p.m. at the Administrative Services and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom.
I believe we
Wait, is that supposed to be
forgot to
7?
make a roll call on the agenda items, and my apology. So we did. Sorry, my apology.
But just a correction, this says the Board of Trustees, HFC, is 6 p.m. on Monday, the 21st. That's
I'm glad you brought that up
Okay,
because
yes.
Chair McDonald asked me to highlight that. That is correct. We are meeting an hour earlier, and she wanted me to highlight that so that those of you on autopilot that Monday know to start an hour early.
We might still come in at 7.
Well, if we don't have a quorum, we'll be waiting.
All right, we'll go back to 6, 5 and 6.
No, 6 and 7.
6, 7,
7 we can't do yet.
All right, so recommended action, move that the board go into a closed session to discuss material exempt from disclosure under the attorney-client privilege, MCL 15.243(1)G pursuant to MCL 15.268H, and to discuss specific pending litigation, Baudry versus Henry Ford College pursuant to MCL 15.268E.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion by Trustee Barry, supported by Trustee Thorpe. Can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio? Trustee Moses?
Yes.
Trustee Petrikov?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Trustee Watts? Yes. Chair McDonald?
Thank you. We will go ahead and adjourn or suspend the meeting for closed session, and we'll come back here to have the recommendations and then adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Recommended action, move that the board authorize counsel to settle the case within the certain parameters as set forth in the closed session.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion by Trustee Barry, supported by Trustee Thorpe. Can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio? Trustee Moses?
Yes.
Trustee Petrikov?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Trustee Watts? Yes. Chair McDonald?
All right. Thank you very much. And we
We
are
are adjourned.
adjourned.
There you go.